you mentioned free speech, which we already know that people are being deported on the basis of not being able to have certain types of speech that this administration doesn't like. I mean, those are things that are happening right now in this country. You're talking about Europe, but that's happening here.
Yeah, well, I would remind you that over the course of the last several years, the left in this country has undertaken a massive effort to suppress the speech of conservatives. And to this day, the message from the left is, I think if you don't say what we like, we will engage in violent acts against you.
I'll let you in, Dan, in a second, but let's just...
That's Republican Scott Jennings gleefully fact-checking CNN host and tool of a party that regularly dishes it out but can't take it, Abby Phillip, over her politically biased BS regarding President Trump's agenda. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like Democrats and their lackeys in establishment media have become so delusional that they're now making a habit out of repeatedly opening cans and acting shocked to discover that they're filled with worms. Case in point, Abby Phillip attempting to pathetically dunk on Scott Jennings and conservatives over Trump's recent mass deportations.
I don't think anybody disagrees with that. 7 million means that they're not just going after criminals.
Well, they're going after people who are in the country illegally, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying the criminals. This is a much bigger universe.
Doesn't that make you a criminal?
No, it doesn't.
To come across the border illegally?
Coming into the country illegally is a civil offense. It's not a criminal offense.
Okay, if you come into the country illegally, here's the message. We're going to find you and send you back. I mean, I'm sorry, that's the way it is. And I think the government should pull all the levers at its disposal to find people and pull this off. It's what the American people asked Donald Trump to do. Yes, they should be deporting violent people. Yes, they should be deporting people who committed violent acts before they came here. But at some juncture, if you're going to allow any illegal immigration at all, the message then goes out. Just get here. It'll probably work out for you. That was the last administration. This is a different one.
The government.
You know, it's amazing how hard-coded the soft language manipulation of liberals has been on legacy media types. I mean, we've seen this scenario repeated time and time again since the deportation started, where political hacks like Phillip simply can't process that entering the country illegally is considered a crime, which of course is the whole point. The left does the same exact thing with climate change, reproductive health, and any other progressive issue they want to water down and lie to people about. And like the infamous saying goes, if you repeat a lie enough, people will start to believe it, which is why the ruling class is doing everything in its power to make people think that the majority of voters in America hate everything that Trump's been doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, elections are ultimately about choices. They aren't, you don't have them in a vacuum. And I would just argue back to Kamala Harris that, I told you so. I agree. I told you so. Donald Trump was going to close the southern border. I told you so. He was going to bring order to immigration. I told you so. He was going to drag this country out of the left-wing cultural ditch and put us back towards more mainstream, middle of the road.
You think he's done the last thing?
I did tell you so. Now, he's also executing, as you all have acknowledged, his economic agenda, just as he said he was going to do. He's enacting tariffs, and he's asking the Congress to make the tax cuts permanent, and he's unleashing American energy. So I agree. It is I told you so, and about half the country is okay with it, and about half the country voted for it. So it strikes me that this is a healthy level of copium going on right now among Democrats who are telling themselves stories that the people who voted for this are not happy with it. The vast majority, if not everyone who voted for Donald Trump, is some level of happiness ranging from 9 to 10 on the happiness scale.
Jennings is absolutely correct here, and it's honestly baffling that Democrats and their lackeys in establishment media think that their childish, hypocritical, and impatient BS about Trump's tariffs is somehow popular with the majority of Americans. Sure, no one is thrilled about the idea of stocks going down or the potential of consumer goods going up, but the majority of us also understand the concept of delayed gratification and the cost associated with fixing a broken system, which these pretend journalists and politicians will never understand because they seem to have the impulse control of a toddler, which is exactly why they're fuming over today's news. Here's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessant breaking it to the propagandists and legacy media that despite what they say, things aren't looking as bleak as the left had hoped for.
Good, thank you. And we saw the successful negotiating strategy that President Trump implemented a week ago today. It has brought more than 75 countries forward to negotiate. It took great courage for him to stay the course until this moment. And what we have ended up with here, as I told everyone a week ago, they are in this very spot, do not retaliate and you will be rewarded. So every country in the world who wants to come and negotiate, we are willing to hear you. We're going to go down to a 10% baseline tariff for them, and China will be raised to 125 due to their insistence on escalation.
You know, I've got to say that it's truly shocking that all these experts, pretend journalists have been trotting out about this, might actually be wrong about something. I mean, it's almost like when the ruling class had 5 former secretaries of defense sound the alarm about Pete Hegseth and unanimously claimed that he would hurt morale and recruitment levels in the military, only to have recruitment levels skyrocket and reach near record levels. At the end of the day, though, all this tariff and stock market talk has done is once again highlight the dishonesty of the left and legacy media. I mean, they're already trying to downplay the market rebound in response to Trump negotiating with these countries and raising tariffs on China, just like they downplayed the fact that even during the dip, the market was still up by a net of 80% over the last 2 years. And it's because they have no intent of actually reporting the news or providing context. Their only goal is to use the guise of expertise to try to scare you into siding with their political agenda. But let me know what you think. How do you feel about the recent news about China? Were you worried about the effects of these tariffs or trusting the plan all along? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!